Oh boy, do I have a treat for you today. This story is complete with an update, and the main post is pretty long, but let me tell you, it is intense. It involves a wife who finds out that her husband has a very creepy obsession. He seems to be falling head over heels for his wife's sister in law, which is OP's brother's wife, and I'm telling you, this one gets very strange. OP finds out her husband has a second phone, and the second phone is full of all these pictures of sister in law. And these pictures were taken without anybody knowing, including sister in law. She had no idea that this weirdo was taking photos of her, and I'm gonna tell you guys right now. The reason I said you're in for a treat is because this is full of drama and a twist that you do not see coming. I'm 34 and female, and I honestly don't know where to start. I've been married to Tyler for 11 years. We have 2 children, 8 and 6. My brother Jake has been married to Sav, short for Savannah, for 7 years, and they just had their first baby 3 months ago. It's important context because this whole nightmare escalated after we went to visit them to meet the baby. But I need to back up because this does not come out of nowhere. Looking back now, I can see all the red flags I ignored or explained away because I loved my husband and trusted him. I feel stupid. Tyler has always had this weird thing about Savannah. From the moment Jake introduced her to the family 8 years ago, Tyler would act different around her. At first, I thought he was just being friendly, trying to make her feel welcome in the family. He would laugh extra loud at her jokes, compliment her constantly, and always volunteer to help her with stuff. I remember feeling a tiny bit jealous, of course, but telling myself I was being petty and insecure. She was new to the family, and of course he wanted her to feel included. But it never stopped. If anything, it got worse over the years. After every family gathering, Tyler would spend days, not hours or minutes, no days, talking about Sav, how smart she is, how funny, how she remembered that he liked a specific brand of beer and made sure to have it at the barbecue, how her homemade potato salad was restaurant quality, she should sell the stuff, how she looked so put together even though she was just wearing jeans and a t-shirt. He would go on, and I would sit there feeling like absolute garbage because he never talks about me this way. When was the last time he noticed I remembered his favorite stuff? When did he last compliment my cooking? I brought it up a few times over the years, trying to keep it light, you really like Savannah, huh? Or, wow, sounds like Sav made quite an impression. He would brush it off and say, stop being weird, that he was just appreciating family. He would turn it around on me, asking why I was so threatened by him being nice to my brother's wife. Was I really that insecure? Did I not trust him? Gaslighting. So I learned to keep my mouth shut. I would bite my tongue during his post-visit Sav worship session, and I would smile and nod when he would compare my cooking to hers. Guess who always came up short? I'd pretend it didn't bother me when he would light up like a Christmas tree whenever she walked into the room. I told myself it was harmless. A little crush, maybe. We all have crushes, right? As long as he didn't act on it, as long as it stayed in his head, what's the harm? I had bigger fish to fry, kids, work, keeping our household running. I didn't have time to obsess over my husband's obvious infatuation with my sister-in-law. And then came the visit that changed everything. 3 weeks ago, we drove out to meet Jake and Sav's new baby. It's a 2-hour drive, and Tyler was practically vibrating with excitement the whole way. Not about meeting his new nephew, mind you. He kept talking about seeing how Sav is a mom. He wants to watch how she is as a mother, and wondered if she would still look as amazing after having a baby. What? I felt sick to my stomach, but told myself I'm overreacting. The visit started normal enough. The baby was adorable, Jake was doing the proud father thing, and Sav looked tired but happy. Normal new parent stuff, but Tyler was on another level. From the second we walked in, he was laser focused on Sav. Complimented her hair. It was messy bun. Complimented her skin routines. Well, she had bags under her eyes, though. And complimented her figure. She was wearing a baggy sweatshirt. When she apologized for the messy house, he practically tripped over himself to say it looked absolutely spotless and that she was incredible for maintaining everything with a newborn in the house. Well, during lunch, Sav had made sandwiches. Basic sandwiches, turkey, cheese, lettuce, tomato. Tyler acted like she'd prepared a 5-course meal. "Oh, these are amazing, Sav. What's your secret in the mayonnaise? The proportions are perfect. The bread is fresh. Did you make this aioli yourself? It's amazing." "It's mayonnaise from a jar." "I saw the jar in the trash can. It was Kroger brand." But the worst part was when Sav mentioned she picked up Tyler's favorite craft beer. Oh man, his face. I can't even describe it. He looked at her like she just told him she donated a kidney. "You remembered." And I swear to goodness there was a tear in his eyes. Tears over beer that she remembered from maybe 2 conversations ago. The whole visit, he followed her around like a puppy, jumped up to help everything that she needed, insisted on doing the dishes, and kept calling her Superwoman, and saying Jake was the, well, luckiest man alive. My brother, bless his soul, just looked uncomfortable and kept trying to redirect Tyler's attention to the baby, or sports, or literally anything else. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here feeling invincible. Invincible to my own thoughts, because I'm lost and invisible. Our daughter asked me a question, and Tyler shushed her, because Sav was talking about the baby's sleep schedule. Our son showed him a drawing that he made, and Tyler barely even glanced at it, because he was watching Sav make coffee. He's never seen this espresso method before. When I mentioned I was tired from the drive, he didn't even acknowledge I spoke, but when Sav yawned, he immediately asked if she needs to go take a rest, and offered to watch the baby so she could nap. The drive home, it could be considered torture. Tyler would not shut up about Sav, how she was glowing, how she was such a natural mother. She could probably have 3 more babies this way. How her house smelled like vanilla, even with a newborn in the air. How she lost the baby weight already. First of all, I don't care, but she hasn't. How Jake better appreciates what he has, and on and on and on and on, and finally I snapped. I couldn't take it anymore. I screamed at him, "Jesus Christ, Tyler! If you love her so much, why don't you just divorce me and marry her?" The car went silent. He didn't say a word the rest of the drive. When we got home, he went straight to our room and closed the door. I got the kids settled and sat in the living room with my heart pounding, wondering if I'd just destroyed my marriage over my stupid jealousy. And when he finally came out, his face was completely emotionless. He sat down across from me, not next to me, and said we need to talk. My heart sank. This is it. He was going to tell me I was crazy, jealous, that I needed therapy, that I was destroying our family with my insecurities. And I braced myself. Instead, he said, "You're right. I don't have feelings for you. I have feelings for Sav." I think I stopped breathing. I mean, all these years of telling myself I was imagining things, that I was being paranoid, and he just admitted it just like that. But he wasn't done. He went on and on to say that he had developed a crush early on, but it had grown into something much more over the years. He said he never acted on it, would never act on it, that he loves me still, loves our family, and he said feelings were feelings, that he couldn't control, only his actions he can control. He said lots of people have crushes, it doesn't mean much. I lost it. I screamed at him, "This is not an internet crush." It was an obsession. He'd spent years comparing me to her, making me feel like garbage and embarrassing me in front of my family. That everybody had noticed, and my mother had asked me if everything was okay between us after last Christmas, when he spent the entire dinner staring at her. He tried to gaslight me even more. I should be used to it by now. He said I was exaggerating, that he was just being friendly, and that I was projecting my own insecurities, but then I started listing specific examples, and he could not deny it. The time he accidentally called me Sav during an intimate moment, the way he'd suggest I try hairstyles or clothing that looked suspiciously like things Sav would wear. How he'd suddenly become interested in her hobbies, yoga, true crime podcast, gardening. We don't even have a lawn. Things he never cared about before. Finally, he broke down. He admitted to everything. Said he tried to fight it, but he can't. Said he loves me, but was also in love with her. Said he hated himself for it, that he knew it's wrong, but He could not help how he felt, and I wanted to throw up. I just wanted to scream. I wanted to hit him. Instead, I told him he needs to sleep on the couch and we would figure out the next step in the morning, but it gets worse. I wish it didn't. Oh man, it seems like OP is losing her mind over this situation, and I cannot blame her. She's obviously being gaslit. Anyways, the next update starts with a very interesting sentence. It starts with, "It gets worse. It gets so much worse," and it makes me want to wonder, what in the world has this man done now? But first, we're going to review 4 comments, and after the 4th comment, I want you guys to put down below which one of the comments are the most helpful. Number 1, 2, 3, or 4. Here's the first one. It says, "Holy crap, OP. Your husband called you Sav during an intimate moment and you stayed. Girl, that would have been my walking papers right there. The fact that he admitted to being in love with you and your sister-in-law at the same time after years of gaslighting you's insane. You're not crazy. Everybody at the family dinner saw him stare at her. Trust your instincts, trust your gut. This man has been emotionally cheating on you for almost a decade." I think that's solid advice. Yeah, trust your gut is usually a very good go-to. The second comment comes from Too Blessed, Too Stressed. Well, I'm gonna get downvoted here for the obvious, but I think everybody sucks here, except for Savannah, and let me tell you why. You let this go on for years without putting your foot down. He's obviously a creep, but you enabled this by staying silent and biting your tongue. Your kids have been watching their father obsess over another woman their entire lives. You should have demanded marriage counseling or left the first time he called you her name in bed. Now, it's escalating and every single body involved is deeply traumatized, and I think you have a bit of blame to this. Alright, that comment might have been harsh, but at the same time, OP was ignoring a lot of red flags, and, well. Third comment. Not the a-hole. Please don't listen to anybody blaming you. Emotional abuse is insidious. He gaslit you for years, making you think that you were insecure and paranoid for noticing obvious inappropriate behavior. The crying over the beer, the shushing your daughter to hear Sav talk. This man is unhinged. You need to run. Also, I'd say the fact that he went from denying everything to admitting he's in love with her, that's not a crush, that's a full-blown emotional affair. Like I said, put on your dancing shoes and run. Well, I have to admit on that comment, it makes a lot of sense. But here's the 4th and final comment. It comes from somebody named Therapist Mom 82. Reading this made my skin crawl. The slow escalation, the gaslighting, the way that he neglected his own children to fawn over Sav, it's creepy. This is textbook obsessive behavior, and him trying to get you to dress like her. Come on, how many red flags do you need? He wants you to change your hobbies to match hers. He's been trying to turn you into her. Do not turn a blind eye. It's seriously disturbing. Please get yourself and your children into therapy ASAP and get out of this situation. The level of fixation just doesn't seem to want to go away. Guys, that was the 4th comment, so let me know down below which one you think was the most useful. And if you're new to the channel, show a little love by hitting that subscribe button. The next comment, or should I say update, starts with a very important sentence. Like we said, but it gets worse. It always gets so much worse. Over the next few days, Tyler starts acting different. Not apologetic or trying to fix things like you would expect. Instead, he seemed free, like admitting his feelings had given him permission to lean into it. He started changing things around the house, buying the same laundry detergent that she uses. He noticed the brand during our visit and suggested we repaint our kitchen the same color as theirs. He even bought the same brand of a coffee maker and started making coffee the way that Sav did. Who likes drinking espresso every single morning? I miss my coffee. But the really disturbing part was how he started acting with our children. He's always been a good dad, involved and loving, but now he was pushing them away. To be more like Sav's family, he signed our daughter up for yoga classes because Aunt Sav does yoga and look how centered she is. He bought our son the same educational toys Sav had for the baby, even though our son is 6 years old and way too old for that. He started criticizing their behavior, saying things like, Aunt Sav's baby is so calm, you too need to learn to be more peaceful like that household. I felt like I was going insane in my own home, like he was trying to turn our family into some sick replica of Sav's when I confronted him. He said I was being dramatic, that he was just trying to improve our family dynamic, and he said maybe if I was more like Sav, more calm, more organized, more appreciative, he wouldn't have developed feelings like this in the first place. I don't know how I didn't see it. That should have been my breaking point. I should have kicked him out right then and there, but I had 2 kids to think about, and divorce is messy and expensive, and part of me still hoped this was some kind of midlife crisis that would pass. Then last week I found something that changed everything. Tyler had left his phone on the counter while he showered. It buzzed with a notification, and I glanced at it automatically. It was a phone notification from his gallery. You know how sometimes phones will show you memories from past photos? The photo was Sav's feet. It was also not normal family photos. It was a candid shot of her in the background of our backyard. Taken through what looked like a window, she was playing with her dog, completely unaware that she was being photographed, and my blood ran cold. I grabbed his phone. I knew his passcode, or I thought I did. Turned out that he changed it, but our daughter's birthday still worked, and I opened his gallery and found hidden folders labeled feet. Inside were dozens of photos of Savannah's feet. Some from family events, sure, but so many that it was wrong. Sav grocery shopping in sandals, taken from across the parking lot, zoomed in. Sav at a coffee shop, fresh manicure, pedicure, photographed through the window, and Sav in her backyard and her driveway getting the mail. Barefoot. Photos that were clearly taken without her knowledge from a distance like some creepy stalker. But the worst ones, gosh, I feel sick typing it. There were photos from our recent visit that made my skin crawl. Sav was breastfeeding, taken from an angle where she clearly didn't know that he was watching, and Sav was bending over to pick up a toy, and, well, one that made me almost drop the phone. Sav through her bedroom window getting dressed. You could only see a silhouette through the curtain, but it was obvious what she was doing. The timestamp showed it was from our visit. During the hour, Tyler had, quote, gone for a walk to clear his mind after the baby had been fussy. I wanted to throw up, scream. I wanted to call the police right then and there. Instead, I took photos of everything, with my own phone as evidence, and put his phone back. And when he got out of the shower, I was sitting on our bed with my phone in my hand. I said, we need to talk. He must have seen something in my face because he just immediately gets defensive and said, "What now? What did I do wrong this time?" I pulled out the photos on my phone and his face went white as a ghost. He said, "I can't explain." Explain what? You're stalking my brother's wife. You took photos of her in her own home without her knowledge. That's not a crush, Tyler. It's criminal. He tried every excuse. Oh, they're just photos. He wasn't hurting anybody. He just admired her. It was my fault for not being more understanding, and he was going through a hard time. He never meant for it to go this far. I told him I was calling Sav and Jake, and he begged me not to. He got on his knees, crying, saying it would destroy everything, that Jake would hurt him, that I was overreacting, and I told him he should have thought about that before he became a stalker. I called Sav that night after Tyler finally passed out. He spent hours pacing and muttering to himself, and my hands were shaking so bad I could barely dial the phone. When she answered, I could barely get the words out through my tears. Her reaction had broke my heart. She wasn't even shocked. She said, "Oh gosh, I knew something was off." She told me Jake had mentioned seeing someone outside their house a few nights when he took the dog out. They'd assumed it was wildlife or their imagination, and she said that she felt uncomfortable during our recent visit, but thought that she was being hormonal and paranoid. Well, we went to the police the next day. It was the next morning, and Jake wanted to do awful things to Tyler. Sav had to physically hold him back when they saw the photos. The police took it seriously, especially the window photo. They said it was clear evidence of stalking and, well, his clear obsession with her feet. They pulled Tyler's phone records and found something worse. He's been driving to their neighborhood regularly. His GPS showed his car parked on their street or nearby at least a dozen times in the past month, always late into the nights when he told me that he was working later at the gym. The police interviewed Tyler 2 days ago and he denied everything at first. Said the GPS must be wrong, that the photos were innocent, that we were all overreacting, but when they told him about the window photo and the GPS evidence, he changed tactics. He played the victim, said he was mentally unwell and that he needs help, that his marriage was falling apart and he latched on to Sav as some kind of coping mechanism. They didn't even arrest him, said they need more evidence, that the photos alone were not enough to prove criminal intent. They suggested Sav and Jake get a restraining order and install security cameras because they have enough evidence to do that. They said that they would keep an eye on the situation. So now I'm living in this nightmare. Tyler is still in our home because he refuses to leave, and I haven't been able to legally force him out yet. The kids know something's wrong. They keep asking why Daddy sleeps on the couch and why we don't talk anymore. I've had to hide all the kitchen knives because I don't trust him or myself at this point. He watches me constantly, not in his old loving way, but with this empty calculating stare. I found a second phone hidden in the garage today. I haven't looked at it yet because I'm terrified of what I'll find. My lawyer says the restraining order hearing is next week. Says I have a good case for emergency custody and says the divorce should be straightforward with the evidence that I have. But in the meantime, I'm trapped in this house with someone who I don't even recognize anymore. I haven't slept properly in days. My back hurts. I keep checking the locks. I installed the doorstop alarm on my bedroom door, and I've started documenting everything. Every weird comment every time he leaves the house, and certainly every strange behavior. Jake drove by yesterday twice just to check on me, and my mom wants me to come stay with her, but I can't leave my home. My lawyer says that would hurt the case. The worst part is now, how normal Tyler's acting during the day. He makes breakfast, he goes to work, he still has his job somehow. He comes home and acts like nothing is wrong, but I see him scrolling through his phone constantly, and I know he's looking at her feet. I hear him on the phone in the garage whispering to someone, but he hangs up when I get too close. So guys, am I the a-hole for telling my husband to go marry my sister-in-law if he's so obsessed with her? Because that comment started this whole avalanche of horror, and part of me wonders if I should have just kept my mouth shut and lived with his crush rather than opening his box of nightmares. My kids have a father who was present. I had a husband who at least pretended to love me, and my brother's family didn't have to install security cameras and look over their shoulder. Did I overreact to what started as hurt feelings? Or was I right to force this into the open before it escalated further? Because right now, sitting in my house with a man who's obsessed with another woman to the point of watching, I honestly don't know anymore. And yes, little update an hour later. Since some of you are asking me, yes, I have a safety plan. Yes, Jake and my dad are taking shifts of staying nearby. And yes, the police have our address flagged in the system. Yes, I'm in therapy. And yes, the kids will be starting therapy soon. No, I don't think Tyler will physically hurt us, but I'm not taking chances. The second phone is now with the police, and I'm not touching that thing. Restraining order hearing is Tuesday, so please wish me luck. You know, there's no more updates for this story that are available yet, which is kind of a bummer. I mean, I understand that OP more than likely left this weirdo, but what she said at the end with the phone still being in police custody, there's no telling what they're going to uncover with this phone. I wish there was an update a year from now so we can see if this creep went to prison. I want to end it with a few comments. The first one says, not the a-hole times 3. Holy crap, not the a-hole. You did not start an avalanche, you exposed a weirdo. Your husband was watching your sister-in-law and taking really weird photos of her in her own home? That's not a crush, okay? That's criminal behavior that was escalating. You potentially saved her from something much, much worse, so hey. Document everything and get those kids away from him, and please stay safe. Do I have to say it again? This man is unhinged. Comment 2. This one comes from a former family lawyer. So you need to get out now. Okay, that's the most important part. Do not wait for the restraining order hearing. The fact that he's exhibiting controlling behavior, has a second phone, and is acting empty are massive red flags. I mean, come on. Statistics show that stalkers often escalate when confronted. Take the kids to your mother's house today. Your lawyer is wrong. Judges understand fleeing for safety. Document that you're fleeing due to fear, not abandoning the home. The behavioral changes you're describing, empty stares, calculated watching, secret phone calls, are textbook pre violence indicators. Please do not wait till Tuesday. Also, the second phone needs to go to the police ASAP. Do not look at it yourself as it could compromise evidence. Please update us if you're safe. Guys, you will be the first to hear about any updates, but let's talk about this in the comment section down below. I want to discuss with you what you would have done in this weird situation when you find feet pictures of your sister-in-law on your man's phone. Drop your thoughts down below. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe and remember one thing. It's cool to be kind. Peace.